Hey, good morning, Alpha Fam. Welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Just wondering if any of you were able to catch that Zilliqa play that I was talking about. We did have the pullback to the region that I was mentioning, and yesterday I was saying I missed it. I made my video somewhere around here, and I was regretting that I missed this level to buy in. But as I was warning that Bitcoin would have a pullback, we did have a bit of a pullback, and I said, you know what? Keep your eyes open for these levels. And if you ever had this chance, just go ahead, go for it. But we got a second chance and a third chance, and actually a fourth chance to get into this into Zilliqa at these prices. Of course, this is the 15-minute scale that we're on right now, so this was a few hours that you had, not too long, but it does look like the stretch lasted from, let's see, 6 to 21. So actually, it was a fair amount of time. You had most of the day to get into this trade. Unfortunately, I was busy with, family things, family in the hospital, that sort of thing. And so my mind was distracted from the charts. I wasn't focused on these things. I didn't have purchase orders in because I wanted to make sure that I was, holding my profit and not just blindly in the market during a potential downturn. But of course, we did find support, and anyway, Zilliqa was putting in these very bullish patterns, and so these were the levels that I suggested, and that was a, let's see, a approximately. I mean, you're probably not going to catch the very top, but if you were able to catch around here about 25, to 30%, and had you done it perfectly, maybe up to 35 if you caught the absolute bottom. But yeah, a nice 30 to 35% move in there by Zilliqa. And this triangle, in case you were wondering, I had it up last time also. I didn't mention it. It was pointing to the level that I thought that we might be able to achieve, and this was just wishful thinking. I did expect us to kind of stretch longer, so I am thinking that maybe this is going to have another push. Um, I wouldn't have expected it just to apex right here, although these are my take profit areas. So, just, 15%, take it whatever you want, up to 25%, right? Just if you were able to reach these levels, I didn't know if we were going to put in a higher high or if we would just double top if the market was turning around. So a bunch of these levels I just had here just for possible take profit areas. And of course, we're returning to these possible buy-in zones. And let's see if we get another chance. Most likely, this was the lowest that you were going to get it. Not sure, but at least before the next possible drive. After that, we are reaching this very, very dense resistance area, on the longer chart here. Let's go ahead and take a look up here. I don't have it marked off up here, but just by the indications, on these longer time frames like the daily. Of course, we were on the 15-minute before. I've got some stuff, marked up here previously, even before these were firing, bright red. But of course, we are getting pretty toppy. And so if Bitcoin does have another pullback, which is something that I would possibly expect from our fractals and from our algorithm, then I wouldn't expect us to just hold this area forever. And so if we do have that drive that I was talking about on the 15-minute, that second drive, sort of like this, right? One, two, three drives, right? We already had one, two, possibly three. This could be counted as maybe just one drive, right? Just with a lot of resistance in this area. But let me get it on the other chart actually. Just we kind of like got this, it's kind of this toppy resistance area. And so maybe this was just one drive and two drives, and maybe we have a third drive, right? Just have tight stop losses. Probably this area around 15 cents is good. And if we do have a major pullback, I don't know, maybe that 15 cents is a good buy-in area, right? But anywhere around there, 16, 15 cents, this area, again, is a good pullback area. And Zilliqa's bullish, so I'm not going to go against the trend on this one. We just made, about 30% while the rest of the crypto market was dropping. The Alpha Fam over here made 30% off of Zilliqa. So, good job because this has been pretty bright red, for the last day. Today we are kind of getting back in the green. Looks like everything's popping up, 0.5%, 1%. We're seeing a couple 4%, 5%. Let's look at a couple of these other ones that I've been looking at. Let's do, all right, Qredo. So Qredo looking a little bullish here, but uh, that's a lower high. But you know what? This formation isn't the worst. And if this does end up being, an inverse head and shoulders, then, maybe we could pop back up to these levels, maybe around $3. And we are keeping on track to hold above that 270 to 275 region that I told you was absolutely critical that we have to hang on to. And if we lose that, I'm just going to mark this out because I've been talking about it for so much. If we lose this area, yeah, something like this. If we lose this area, then it's just, you know, I don't think that Qredo's going to have a chance, before Bitcoin takes a major dip. If Bitcoin is going to take a major dip, it's just going to get pulled the frick down, right? And but as long as we're on top of there, no big issue. Just you've got your Qredo stablecoin over here. It's doing a little of that ADA type style, just accumulation and holding its value at 270. This is the $2.70 stablecoin over here. And so, what did we get on Qredo? Yeah, we got a nice 4.5%. If you caught the absolute bottom, and you were selling right now, you cut the absolute bottom. You got a nice 4%. Well, actually, let's compare it to what Zilliqa was doing. Somewhere around here, kind of topped out right there. Yeah, so 6%, 6%. Then just had a little pullback, kind of like what Zilliqa's doing right now, popping back up. So yeah, you get into the bullish coins. Like I said, like why would you want your money just sitting around in this, right? When you could put it into a bullish retracement on a coin that's not a falling knife, but it's actually, I don't know, what do we call this? Let's call this a stabbing knife, right? So Zilliqa is a stabbing knife. It is stabbing upwards. It is going to stab you, right? So this thing is bullish. This is a bullish knife. It's not a falling knife. And of course, we don't want to be catching falling knives during a Bitcoin downturn because it will just fall more into price discovery to the downside. Zilliqa looks like it wants to have price discovery to the upside sometime, maybe in a month. I don't know. Bitcoin could chill out for a while, right? Bitcoin could chill out for a while. Crypto could chill out for a while. This thing's massively overheated. It might pull back and just like chill out for a while, And the explosive gains that we've been having in Zilliqa, that 30% that we had yesterday. I mean, it's almost 35% that we had last night while the rest of the market was just tanking. Um, I don't know. I don't think that we can really expect that to continue. It's just so overheated on the higher time frames. And, around this level is where you probably do want to start putting your money, more into something that has a little bit of a better setup. Maybe we can squeeze a little bit more out of this, but you might want to put your money something that has a little bit better of a setup. In which case, Qredo, as long as it's, again, as long as it's holding this area, and it's still at risk, right? It's still at risk because whenever it breaks out of these, not sure if you can see this. Whenever it breaks out of these triangles, that it kind of has here, let me draw them. not triangles, but wedges. So it forms these kind of wedges, right? And whenever it breaks down from them, it just kind of keeps going down, right? So it builds a little area, right? And then it might build another one lower. And so is Qredo going lower? Maybe. By the way, these coins are always spelt so weird. Qredo. Is it Credo? Like a belief system? Like that's my credo, right? Maybe it's Credo. But I like Qredo, right? So Qredo sounds funnier. But yeah, like Zilliqa, I don't know. But yeah, it broke down from the wedge, right? It broke down from the wedge. It tends to walk down to support. And so where would I put my buy box? I told you we're getting this kind of slow walk up this this curve, and these green boxes represent my buy-in areas, right? Because I was waiting for confirmation. We hit a low, I was waiting for confirmation. We hit a low, I was waiting for confirmation. Hit a low, I didn't buy because I was busy, but this would be a confirmation. If we got somewhere on this curve, right? Would I expect us to break down into this region again? Only if Bitcoin is sick. Okay, if Bitcoin is sick and continues down, then probably. Could this curve stretch out a little bit more? Just kind of take into account this wick, and maybe, I mean, it could even be more bullish than I think, right? Like it could be something like this. Or this could be just an anomaly, right? Maybe it could have wicked and we got front run. I don't know. But the whole point is that, if you did sell because you were worried about the market dropping down, then your next buy-in point is going to be somewhere on this curve, around this curve, and or in between there and this purple line. And if Bitcoin continues to drop, then you're going to have these DCA points, right? So my charts are getting kind of sloppy, but if you've been following these videos, then you probably understand what I'm talking about. And essentially, that's the two, like anything under 270, as long as the market stays bullish, is a good DCA in for Qredo. Okay, I've just been saying that this entire time, saying this entire time. My range is, around that 270 zone. Our EMAs on the higher time frames are creating a possible squeeze to the upside as long as we stay above 270, right? We break down from 260, 230. I mean, we're going to possibly have a chance to DCA in these areas later on. Let's go over to Bitcoin. Do I want to talk about Kadena? Because I've been talking about Kadena a lot. Let's just see how Kadena's doing. Yeah, not great, right? Not great. Not terrible, but not great. Still following my fractal. Still following my fractal, right? So if Bitcoin has a little bit more of a hiccup, can we see this kind of double bottom possibly? Yeah. I mean, we never got to these, extreme levels, but we did get to this buy box. Could we see kind of a double bottom before Kadena kicks off? Yeah, that'd be awesome. Um, just gonna keep this box just in case. Just in case. I would be willing to buy Kadena anywhere in these areas. I do think this one's basically bottomed out, and having followed it ever since, it was 36 cents, I kind of have a feel for it, how it moves, and I'm totally okay with just like Qredo. I'm totally okay with DCAing into Kadena anywhere under the midline that I established, which by the way has been holding up incredibly well, right? Well, where did I draw this? Like when we were up here, right? Like something like that. And people, oh, Kadena's gonna moon now, No, no, no. Look, I had this laid out, and of course, a lot of this stuff is just conjecture. Again, I don't know. There's a culture in crypto. There's a culture in crypto Twitter, especially. It corrupts you. It corrupts the way you talk. It corrupts the way that you think. It's extremely childish and petty. And yeah, if you ever see me doing that, please call me out on it in the comments. I don't I don't give a care about all that stuff. The point is that we just created a system of logic that we thought might work. And I say we, I'm not using like the royal we or anything. Of course, I talk to my friends, right? I talk to my friends in crypto. And so together we share our ideas. And that's why I say we a lot. I'm not trying to be weird about it or anything. But if I say I, then I'm overlooking some ideas that my friends may have put in. And so yeah, like we've created this theory, where there's the potential for this range to play out a little bit longer. This was a huge run up by Kadena, right? Like 6,000%. This is on log scale, so the actual chart looks like this, right? It's going to take a long time for it to just, recover. Kind of the area that it put in above the midline is kind of the time it needs to put in. Just give you a kind of a concept. I think this is one of those Wyckoff concepts. Not in terms of pattern, but in terms of like time spent. So let's say that there was just a nice, growth curve, right, that had happened. Nothing dramatic, nothing interesting. You were just in it and it kept growing very bullishly, right? Of course, maybe it's exponential or maybe it's linear, whatever. Then the time that you spend above this, right, like just going parabolic, is kind of equal to the time that you put in underneath it, or the area that you put in underneath it. So on these type of charts, time is basically the same thing as distance. So, you have to when you have a what do we call it, like a pullback or um, a correction, like a market correction. What it's correcting is the hyperness, like whatever, if it's hyper bullish or hyper bearish, it's correcting it. It's going back to a midline, right? And so I don't know exactly what the midline should look like. I'm not a statistician. Uh, I don't do statistics or mathematics for these type of charts. I'm more of a visual thinker, and so I just am trying to look at patterns and look at what I can see in the market based on trend, volatility, momentum, those type of things. And also heavy use of EMAs. Let's go on like the 5-day. And you can see there's just, just Kadena continues to be pointed down. Okay, like let's go to the weekly. Yeah, weekly is starting to give a little bit of that flavor. Wow, what the heck? Okay, the weekly is starting to give a little bit of that flavor where maybe it wants to put in something like this and then squeeze up, right? So, yeah, so if we did have a dump, yeah, I mean, it would make sense for it to like pop up around this type of squeeze area, where if we just project these EMAs forward, let's look at the two weekly. Yeah, two weekly is the same, so this is all pretty much the same. This one's just going to take a little bit more time. Either we're going to have a dump and it's going to make a major recovery, or anyway, it's going to take its time to recover. And so, would I be having all my money in there? No, but do I think it's just going to dump down? No, also no. Also no. Like some of these coins have already come down. Where did it come down to? Like 84%? Could it come down 90%? Yeah, it could come back to these wicks, right? It could come back to these wicks. Let's see, what would 90% be? Okay, yeah, 90% would be this box, right? So in a major thing, could it come down here? Yeah, but I would just see that as a great buying opportunity. I would see this stuff as a possibility to come back in. Anytime we're down here around 85%, right? 85% down, right? Which these wicks were. That's just a really great buying opportunity. And so if the market presents us with one more really great buying opportunity for Kadena, I would say, yeah, put your Zilliqa profits into Kadena, right? Something like that. Or Qredo. Same thing with Qredo, right? I've shown you this curve is based upon the EMA structure, right? This is the weekly EMAs, 1 week, and so we're just kind of curving along. It's taking its time. Uh, could it take longer? Yeah, this one's just in danger of losing its structure, but it's looking pretty good as long as, again, as long as it holds over that 275 zone. And that does look like it's increasing. Um, yeah, I mean, as time goes by, this thing needs to keep up. So, hmm, just take off the price action, take off some of these drawings. You can kind of see we're looking for this squeeze primarily between this thick yellow and this thick red one. And so the bottom here is actually saying 290 now. We do have this MA, it's the simple MA, which is all the way down here at 263. And I'm using the 5 EMA also, just as a little extra confluent support. And so this would be kind of like the stretch range for our support. So as long as these two are staying positive, I'm not bearish on this thing. But yeah, that see previously this red one was making a curve that could have like swooped down here, right, into this region along with these ones. But now it's got this negative angle. So yeah, and this simple 21 is also downward. This is kind of odd. But yeah, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. It's just middling, guys. It's just middling. It's getting stuck between all these EMAs. It's not sure if it's bullish or if it's bearish. As time goes on, it has to increase its price. It can't just stay a stable coin at 270, which is what it's been doing. It's been staying a stable coin at 270 for almost 3 months now, right? So Qredo really needs to step up its game and probably, yeah, I think it needs to get to that 290, $3 region as soon as possible. As soon as possible. And if it can hold that 290 to $3 region, then yeah, I'm gonna stay bullish on it. But yeah, things are getting harder for Qredo here. Under 290, it's looking a bit weaker. Previously 270, but under 290, it's just looking a little bit weaker. Let's see. Let's get our price action back on. Maybe the 5-day is a bit more supportive, right? Ah, no, it's still under the 21. Hmm. 3-day. Okay, 3-day has a chance. All right. So yeah, it's still in a zone. It's still in a zone. Just just gonna take its time. Wow, that's really just flat. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, the thing is, it makes this type of movement, right? To the downside, so it's probably gonna squeeze down again. And then if Bitcoin just has a hiccup, I mean, it's just you're playing a downtrend basically. This is downtrending more than it's uptrending. But it has a lot of fuel. It has a lot of fuel to pop up, and so yeah, same thing as Kadena basically, right? Like same thing as Kadena. If we do come back to these levels, I'm just gonna DCA in more. I mean, let's take off log. This thing hasn't come down as much as Kadena has. Well, let's see. Not as much, but approximately. So in case of 85%, it would be this bottom box at $1.50, and then 90% would be like 90 cents, which would be incredible. They're doing a lot of things like burning, and to Qredo's credit, like the project is highly active. They got a lot of believers. Personally, I wish they would have just let it come down to those 85 to 90, percent down levels, because it did have a blow off top, right? It had a blow off top and it had a relief rally, and now and then it's coming down, and they're just putting in its time, like I said, to cool off, right? It's a correction, and kind of wish it had been able to dump into these areas, because 85 to 90% down would have just been a great buy for this. If we're able to hold these levels continuously, then yeah, I mean, then that 230 area, that 230 to 270 is just your DCA area, your first DCA area. Okay, spending a lot of time on those ones, but these are the coins that I'm following. Obviously, I've had my money in Zilliqa, which seems to be potentially rallying again. And this thing's a monster. But and then of course, I'm trying to figure out when I will move money from Zilliqa to either Qredo or Kadena, and a bunch of these other ones I've been looking at. This was kind of a short-term play. You can see these levels are really nice for suitor. So this kind of golden area I have marked out down here. It tends to hold it even in a bear market, right? This thing could go lower. It does have kind of an overall downish trend to it. So it could go another level lower next time, right? One level, next level, next level. Kind of held the same level. Good sign. But doesn't mean it can't go down one more, right? Yeah, I'm not recommending this one to anyone. Just one that I watch. Because I did have a perfect buy signal here, which was very similar to one here and here and here, and it just hasn't done anything yet. So if this market turns bullish, it's just one that I would be willing to watch. But don't focus on this coin. What's AVAX doing? Oh, nice, nice. Let's see, about 37% up since the 17th. Pretty good for such a high cap. Pretty good. Adam, hmm. We didn't come back down to my buy zone, but we did wick to it. Kind of threatening to come back. Was looking for kind of a double bottom like this. Kind of like this. You see it has like wicks down below this trend line occasionally, right? Uh, yeah, I mean, I wasn't in this coin, so I was just trying to see if I could grab a second chance, but it just skirted right above my entire buy box. And of course, bullish on Atom. I don't know if 400% is really reasonable, but could it continue to fill up this range? I don't know. Ethereum did something like that, right? It just kept going for a long time in one range up. So if Atom did, then maybe it could double, right? Something like that. Pretty easily. These look like relatively good levels compared to where it's been before. Some of you requested that I talk about other coins, from time to time, not just Bitcoin. And so, maybe you like just taking a look at some of these coins. Atom and, AVAX, Avalanche, right? Atom is also known as Cosmos, and then AVAX is also known as Avalanche. These would be kind of your safer high caps. And then Kadena and Qredo, kind of like your mid-risk, mid caps. Not too dangerous, good projects. All of those ones are good projects. And then Zilliqa also just in a bullish phase, right? And Suitor would be one of those like low caps that just kind of a risky play. I don't recommend you to be in that necessarily. Just like a coal, right? Talk about coal. See how coal's doing. Ooh, scary. I don't like I don't like that wick. Interesting. It followed followed the line though. Oh yeah, wicked right down there to it, just like we kind of wicked down to the screen one previously. Okay, just hanging on there, Cole. All right. But yeah, you don't want too much money hanging around in these smaller cap, falling knife charts or charts that kind of have like a downward trend to them. Even if you really believe in it, like I really like Suitor, I really like Cole, but you can put your money into something a little bit safer or a little bit more bullish of a chart until these smaller caps prove that they're running. If they start proving that they're running, then you might want to jump back into them and try to catch the run. Um, on the confirmation, not mid pump, but on the confirmation of bullishness. What would a confirmation of bullishness be? Just if it did something like this, and it started to put in those, those higher lows, and it hadn't retouched its EMAs in a while, those lines, right? Then maybe it might reach up to grab them. And if it does, right, and you got in on this bullish confirmation, then you might want to take your profit on some of those levels. And if it comes down, what would be a really nice confirmation is if it held above its previous high, right? At its previous high or above its previous high, somewhere in that area, and then continues on its way. That would be another bullish confirmation that maybe you could stay in the coin instead of just cashing out, right? And then that could suggest a possible, turnaround, right? Um, this is the wrong example because I'm on the daily, right? I was talking more about the smaller time frames. So for example, like coal here, right? It's had nice pumps. You can see all these times where I had marked out in the past where I believed that it was going to pump. Let's go on a smaller time frame. It's just 6 hours. Yep. You can see, right? Like had signals that it might have a turnaround or it might be at a low. And then every time I got those signals, half a day later, it actually ended up pumping. And so I built kind of a theory, and I didn't get in on these coins. I didn't get in unless I had some confirmation of that movement. So what did that confirmation look like? So first, my signals went off, right? And then I could say, yeah, I'm not going to trust you signals because you could be wrong. What if we just continue to dump, right? But with my signals, I then see that we put in a little bit of a higher low, a little bit of a higher low, and then I could say, oh, okay, there's been a couple higher lows after my signal flashed, right? And so I don't mind taking a small position in this coin, just in case it comes up to tag its EMAs, which it did. And then after it tags its EMAs, because coins are all about statistics, right? It's all about averages. And so this moving average is an average. So by definition, the price action should return to it, right? And of course, these smaller moving averages, right, like the 10 and the 20 and the 50 and the 89, depending on what time frame you're on. I'm on the hourly. They get tagged all the time. but they're really short ones. So they're very short time periods. But these longer time period ones, like the 200, they need to get tagged also, but much more rarely. So you see the 89 barely gets tagged, 50 gets tagged regularly, and then just the 10 and the 20, they get tagged all the time, right? The yellow and the red one. But this orange one and the white one, which are the 200 EMA and the 200 MA, they rarely get tagged, but occasionally when you get a nice signal, a nice buy signal, and you get confirmation, and so you're using your indicators, you're using structure, and then you look at momentum is to the upside, and you consider all of these things, and you can take a chance on it, and you can see that the upside is potentially 10% here to your 200, right, on the hourly, and the downside is maybe 2%, right? And so you've got at least three times to the upside potential, right? And then if it continues, even more, because it could just be turning around, right? Maybe the chart's turning around. But this is a good risk to reward ratio. You might prefer, 1 to 5, but 1 to 3 is okay, right? As long as it's better than 50-50, okay? You don't want to just be flipping a coin. And you have your confirmations. And so together, you can kind of make, you can make a risk. But, once you start tagging your EMAs, on various time levels, let's check out 2 hour, should be even higher, right? Yeah, we just got a wick right up there. And then, it's just becoming skinny wicks and stuff to the upside. You want to take your profit and probably get out of it, right? Which is what happens with falling knife coins, right? People just play each one of these pumps. Probably the original investors who own the coins, since the beginning, or whoever they dumped them onto in the beginning. They just play that game every single time, which apparently I'm guilty of. But they just play that every single time they get those type of signals, and because they do it better than the regular average retail, they make money while everyone else is left holding the bag. And then you come to a point where people just aren't willing to sell anymore, and so it starts to flatten out because at some point the losers have lost so much that they're just not willing to even sell it anymore. It's not worth it to them to sell it, so they just bag hold. And in that case, my philosophy is just be in something bullish instead, right? Like you're probably never gonna have to bag hold if you're in something bullish. You just set your stop loss under your entry price, and over time it should just go up. And if it ever does accidentally come back to your entry price, then you just broke even, right? But on the falling knife charts, you can't really do that. You have to use intelligence to trade this thing, and you have to use your stop losses on a shorter time frame, understanding that they probably will be triggered, right? On bullish charts, they might not ever be triggered, but on a falling knife chart, they will be triggered. Almost guaranteed they will be triggered. It's like almost a 100%, in fact, there is a 100% hit rate of anyone's stop losses being hit on this coin, right? And so who's holding these bags? Just people who don't use stop losses. That's it. I don't know who else would be holding except people who are either accumulating at as low as possible because they believe in this project a lot, which there's good reason to believe in this project. This is a great project, by the way, Collect. And so if it ever does just bottom out, feel free to take a very small portion, right, of your bag into these risky plays. You don't want to go wild or anything, right? Because when this thing turns around, it's going to turn around. It's going to have a nice run, right? It's what people are talking about with C-pool and all that stuff. It's just, when do these things bottom out? Like when, right? And are you going to miss the rest of the market? I don't want to go too much into that. It's just I have talked about these coins before, and so I have a responsibility to kind of follow up with it, right? Because I don't want to have said something and then somebody feel misled or something like that. No, this is how you trade. This is how you trade a falling knife if you're going to be in it. And I'm just warning everybody listening, if you're new, you're probably not experienced enough to do that. So just be careful. You want to be in something more bullish, right? And something like AVAX is a very bullish coin. Zoom out, right? I mean, look at this chart. It almost doesn't matter, and you're up 9% since, it's low. It almost doesn't matter when you bought into this, right? Yeah, you could have bought in here. You're still in profit. It literally doesn't matter when you bought into this. Yeah, you could have bought here, but I guess what? You're going to be up here sooner than later, okay? Like you're going to get there, okay? Like if you're holding AVAX, don't feel bad, okay? You're probably going to be okay unless there's a major hack or somebody, rug pulls the project, which, isn't going to happen on this one. But or laws are changed and those sort of things. So you know that this is a risky asset class, crypto in general, but this isn't a risky coin. This coin goes up. Atom, I showed you. This thing goes up. If you're a newbie and you don't know what you're doing, and you're putting a little bit more money into the market than what you think you should be putting in, using common sense, I mean, go for the bullish charts. Go for the bullish charts. You don't have to be, a superhero trying to buy the bottom of falling knives. And you also don't have to be, a technical analysis wizard, right? Trying to figure out, Kadena and Qredo and all these charts that, again, like they look like this, right? They had blow off tops. Why can't I move this? Yeah, they had blow off tops. So you don't know how long it's going to take for them to cool down after having been so overheated. Maybe you don't know how to understand or interpret EMAs, or you're not confident that you can hang on in the market this long. And maybe you also don't know how to evaluate these projects, right? Some of them are very obscure projects. Like I know of them just because, I've been hanging around this industry for a while. But if you're new, you probably have no idea what that is. Whereas, you can find lots of information about AVAX or Atom. And this is what this chart looks like, right? So I showed you the log chart, right? Like this. This is logarithmic chart, just exponentially. This is exponential growth. And then this is how it looks in reality. So it does have these like huge run-ups and then huge cool downs. Where it comes back to tag the 200, see? Then goes again. It tagged it again down here, and now it's going again, right? It tagged it 1, 2, 3 times here. Tagged it 1, 2, 3 times here before this run up. And so I did expect another tag. I did expect another chance. Who knows? Maybe we'll get it. Maybe Bitcoin's going to drop again and we're going to get it. But again, with a chart like this, not too much to worry about. It has a proven track record of going up, right? Just like AVAX. We look at Sol. This thing had a major downturn, but in general, it's a pretty bullish chart, right? I mean, we don't expect Sol to go down to these levels, right? If it ever returned to these levels, just buy everything that you can. Oh wow, 78, we hit that. I think I created the 78 line like over here when we were like when we first were in this area. I was looking for us to like break above that and or something like I was gonna buy back in or something. I don't know because I didn't know what this was gonna do. Man, that line is so old. And look at it, we just bounced right off of it. That's crazy. We bounced right off of that line. That's crazy. Could it have one more drive down? If Bitcoin has a huge pullback, could it have one more drive down? Yeah, sure, maybe. You know, and then go again. Wow, 130. This thing's pumping right now. You see what I mean? Like these charts that have proven track records, right? You don't need to be in the exotic stuff. You don't need to be in all the small caps that crypto Twitter is, trying to push on you. Nice 10%. Nice. Yeah, OpenSea, which sells like NFTs and things like that, they are adopting Sol, and there's more to it, but like this coin had a lot of problems, so it's working through those problems. It's not a final draft yet, to be honest, but so it did have this kind of major downturn. The market lost a little bit of support for it. They just wanted to see how it would play out, and now confidence has returned into this coin, and so we're seeing this kind of bullish increase. But how much has it increased? 40%. Since in the last 2 weeks, it increased 40%. I mean, the play I gave you for Zilliqa, right? It increased 35% last night, right? Right. So, I mean, you could have been in Seoul, you could be in Seoul right now and it'd be highly reliable. But then, there are also, there are so many chances, to be making this type of money in crypto that you can kind of break up your portfolio into, the risky plays, like a little bit of that coal, a little bit of that suitor, and if something like Zilliqa is pumping, and it's just pumping, it's just being super bullish, maybe a little bit into there, right? And then you can kind of have like those kind of coins that are acting kind of like stable coins. They're just accumulating, they're doing their thing. You can DCA in them, but they're kind of mid caps or high caps and, pretty reliable overall, good projects. You can put whether it's ADA or whether it's Qredo or whether it's Kadena. You can put some money in there and just, you know, it'll probably take off sooner than later. It might take 3 months. So, some of those things might take 6 months to like, figure out what it's doing. Let's see when did this start a downturn? So November, right? And then so it took 4 months, right, for this thing to turn around. It took almost 4 months for Sol to turn around, but then it'll do it. And so you put your money in like things like Sol, like Ethereum, like AVAX and Atom, things with bullish charts, proven track records at at these type of supports that you can identify, these weekly and 5 day. 5 day is just a business week, okay? Like a weekly is 7 days, right? Obviously, but the 5 day is the business week, and so it just corresponds to the professional exchanges. So that's why I use the 5 day a lot. Also, just has a slightly different picture, but it's essentially the weekly, just the business week. And you can make plays off of that, and if you did, and my mentor Crypto Retta taught me that, right, to use the weekly. So I'm not sure if it was, Crypto Athena or if it was a Crypto Retta, but or Athena Trades, but one of them taught me to use the weekly. I hadn't really been using that before. I had often, early on, just been stuck on the lower time frames, And I'm really happy that I learned some things from them to get off those smaller time frames and get onto the bigger time frames. And I really learned swing trading from Qredo. And I'm just really appreciative of that because I was so stuck on the smaller time frames. I couldn't, the expression is zoom out, right? Zoom out to get the bigger picture. I couldn't zoom out because I was so focused on whether my money lost a few pennies or whether it lost a few bucks, within an hour or a couple days. And sometimes you just need to chill back, to sit back and chill and use your support levels. And look at the magic, right? Look at the magic. How just a support level from way back here. If we turn on the weekly, we turn off those EMAs. Well, you can't really see it here. Let's put the 5-day on. There we go. Yeah, the 5-day, you can start to see it. Just this kind of area. Just Sol was so bullish. It was so bullish. Put the 3-day on. There you go. You can see it clearly here, right? And so on the 5-day, it would be this area. Weekly, somewhere around here. I don't know. This was a while ago, so maybe I did use the daily. Yeah, probably using the daily over there. But you can see, like when you get onto the different time frames, you can see different support areas. This actually does represent a week, to be honest. Just flip back and forth. Weekly, 5-day. You can see it's got a little ledge there, right? And the next one down would be right here, right? So if this hadn't supported, then maybe it would have come down here. And you knew as soon as it lost this area, it was just going to fall all the way down. You're kind of lucky it caught here instead of here. Let's see monthly. And see, this is bullish, right? Because your monthly is down here. Your monthly is all the way here. It didn't come all the way back, just bullishly retracing. This is just a chill morning stream because honestly, I'm just a little out of it from thinking about my mom's surgery, kind of visiting her at her place before, and driving her to the hospital, and it's not really focused on too much. Just watching the pullback on Bitcoin. Looks like we caught some support, right on that line. Oh wow, right on that line. Like 100%. Like we caught that line that I was talking about 100%. And look, we even retraced right back to my diagonal. And then we kept pumping again. Are we going to get rejected here or are we going to get accepted? Hopefully we can recapture this area at least before we break down 20%. And maybe we can even get higher, and then I would expect us to just go. But if we did break down, I don't see it as the end of the world. Some people do. Some people are talking about like that could be the thing that leads us down to 20,000. And it's possible, yep, it's possible. But I think this algorithm has played out so much that it's possible we just build another pattern. Yeah, it could be lower or it could be higher. But maybe this pattern just plays out again if we do end up dropping all the way down. And what did I tell you, right? What did I tell you? I did not expect us to just fall down right now. I expect another high, either here, right? Like here, which would be typical. The second one is usually lower than the first one. Or if for some reason like we're really bullish, then up here. But anyway, I'll just put it right here. And after putting in kind of a low here, and then a high likelihood of dropping 20%. And that's not me making a prediction. That's just what Bitcoin's chart tells us. It always does. It drops 20%, drops 20%, drops 20%, drops 20% before resetting. Drops 20% before resetting. I don't know. Probably to shake off leverage. You guys who leverage trade, you kill this market because you use so much leverage. You use so much leverage that you kill the market. The market makers just have to liquidate everyone because there's so much leverage in the market. Like, the liquidity is all locked up in this leverage, and you have to be liquidated for us to be able to move up or to move down. And yeah, you leverage traders. That's what you do to us. That's why we get these regular 20% shakeouts. And if you guys hadn't realized that we had been shaked out 20% every one of these things, I hope you're paying attention. It's not me making a prediction. I'm just following the algorithm I developed, okay? This isn't me being bearish or anything. I'm just following the algorithm I developed. Right? Pump up, pump down, pump up, pump down, but by specific measures, or within a specific set of ranges and at approximate levels, right? And so I set in advance like these green area, this blue area, and then the pink area. And each one of these movements down, had a specific pattern that would play out as soon as we hit that 20% down. A specific pattern that would play out. And of course, human beings are doing the trading, and bots are competing with each other to front run each other. But whatever the master algorithm is, it's still playing out. And so I called this thing here, like I think I do remember talking about it in this area. And I remember like outlining the concept for it all the way through here. And even this arc, right? Look, we played right up to that arc. And this was printed a while ago, man. I put this up a while ago. So there's something to this, and if we drop down 20%, don't be surprised. Take your profit. Whatever level we get up to, take some profit. Maybe just chill for a little while, get some confirmation that we're going up or down. Don't be too reckless, okay? It's never been that we dropped after the first high. We always drop after the second high. And pay attention to this because I didn't know where the high would be. In fact, maybe the second high is here, so maybe 36. Maybe the high is higher, so maybe 39. But let's see, what else do we have here? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, maybe this one. Take a look at this. The projection for the ultra bullish case for crypto that I made would suggest a pullback here. And what did we get? A pullback right here, right? So I was saying, this is the model that I made, the ultra bullish model I made. If we did have a chance of getting to 75K, I said we're going to need to pull back in this area. It's possible we could just like shoot through, but most likely we were going to break out of this formation and then have a pullback, right? And all these lines are kind of a work in progress because I don't know the final one, right? Maybe this is too far over or something like that. Maybe this should be here or here, whatever. But The key point is if this is in fact a reversal formation, a consolidation, if this whole area is a consolidation surrounding a Z reversal formation, and if this area is analogous to this area, then this area could be potentially analogous to this area. And what would that mean? The rubber band gets stretched back, and then it gets flinged up. It doesn't capitulate. And this is the invalidation, right? The invalidation would be, oh, look at that. 37 to 36. What was the other chart? What's the other chart? Yeah. So let's see, average 37. And if it's lower, which it usually is lower, right? Every time it's been lower, 36. Look at that confluence. You see this target right here? Let's just say that this algorithm plays out and that we get dropped down to that 37, 36 area, which I already have marked out. And then what if this potential it's not a fractal, it's an algorithm also, I think. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's been working out very well. But yeah, look at that. 37, 36. It would expect a pullback in this region. And then the rubber band is stretched and it gets flinged up. So hey, like if we do drop down to 36, 37, I know some guys are saying, oh, if we break 44,000, then it's game over, man. It's game over. Or if we break, all these numbers, it's game over. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like if we got into that 36, 37 area, I think I'm gonna load up and I'm just going to set a stop loss, somewhere lower. And okay, if I lose whatever percent I lose, if my stop losses get triggered and we go down to the 20s. But I've put a considerable amount of thought into this. This took hours and hours. I did like an hour-long explanation of it. No, I did a 2-hour-long video that explained this. And so if this is playing out, then, I want to be part of it. And if it invalidates, if we break under 30, let's say 35,000, if we break under 35,000 or 33,000, the bottom line, in my opinion, then I would expect we're probably going down to the 20s. Okay. So what would my course of action be? Just advising myself, not you. Wherever we get to on a pump here, take your profit. And then just chill a little bit and get either a confirmation that we're still going up, kind of like this, right? Like maybe we just pumped up like this and we're here right now. And we had a major pullback, but we're going to build our way back up. Okay, if we start making higher highs and higher lows, then just get back in the market and, whenever, use your own risk management to determine if you should get out or not, right? I can't make that call for you. But if we have a lower high and a lower low, if we put in a lower high and we start to break down again, I would just recommend get out. Get out and buy back in around 36 to 37. Whatever. Maybe a wick to 35, but whatever. And then have a tight stop loss somewhere in that $34,000 to $33,000 area. And then if we break down to these, 28 or whatever, or below 28, then you have another chance to buy back in. That's all, in my opinion. And if you did buy in this region, at least you're loaded up in case we do have a rocket fuel to the upside. I don't know what it's going to be. This video has been too long already, but appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Stay safe and happy trading.